everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing What If episode 3. This episode was actually way more exciting than I thought it was going to be. Like, going into this, I was like, okay. But finishing the episode, it was honestly amazing. I mean, you can't expect anything less from Marvel. Let's start with the first big thing. Iron Man dies. Tony Stark dies. And obviously he dies in the main MCU timeline, but he doesn't die when Nick and Natasha come to meet him. That was honestly surprising to me. But then later on in the episode, they were talking about how he died, and they were talking about how it was something injected into his system that killed him, which gave me a big hint as to who was the main villain at the end. But we'll talk about that in a little bit, because next, Natasha gets captured, and she fights her way out because she's Natasha Romanoff, obviously. And we go back to Thor, I believe, and Thor gets killed by Hawkeye, or so it seems. So right off the bat, there's two dead. And then a couple scenes later, Hawkeye is dead. And then we see Nat going to meet Ross. Beth Ross, I believe her name is. Sorry, we don't talk about the Hulk movie, so I don't really remember anything from that one. And we see her meet up with Ross, and she says that something was injected into Tony Stark, and it wasn't the toxins that killed him. It was something inside of the tube that it got injected into it. And Nat finds Bruce, and they decide to go to a safe place. And then Bruce gets shot. Nat hops out of the window and escapes, because then Bruce explodes from the inside. And that scene was just insane, because Hulk can't die, but I guess he can't he? So it was just absolutely insane, that one. And then we see Nat in a library. I know I'm skipping some stuff with Nick Fury and Loki. They do strike an alliance, but that's pretty much all that happens on that side. Cut back to Nat, and she's on her computer, and then you see Hope Van Dyne's thing pop up, and I was like, here we go. I knew I was correct, because, like I said before, in the beginning when Tony Stark got killed and he was injected with something, I was like, it has to be someone from the Van Dyne family, or maybe even Scott. Like, they just put his Ant-Man earlier, like they did with T'Challa's taking of the Power Stone. So when she popped up, I was like, it has to be her, right? And then Nat dies from an invisible force. And so I was like, maybe it's a shrunken Hope, or a shrunken one of the Ant-Man, or even Ghost, because she has something to do with that character set, or that movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then Nick almost calls Captain Marvel, but he doesn't, because he realizes, oh, Hope. There we go. And he goes to meet up with Loki, who then helps him helps him take over Hank at the graveyard where Hope lies. There we go. And it's kind of crazy, this scene, because first you don't expect Loki to be Nick Fury, and at the end he is. And then another thing, well, two things. Hank Pym knocks down his own daughter's grave, which is so gruesome in a way, and like crazy because he's doing this for her, but then ends up tarnishing her grave, you know? And another thing that got pointed out a little later to me after I watched this episode was that Hank Pym was in a yellow jacket suit, which means he was so far down that path, he put himself in a villain's suit, in a suit that caused pain to many goats out there. But yeah, no, this episode was pretty good. It was really good. I didn't expect all of this. Hawkeye's death, especially to me, was like mind-blowing. Like, I didn't even expect that. They were like trying to wake him up and then he wasn't there, you know? I actually thought this episode was going to include Captain Carter, since her first episode ended up with Nick and Hawkeye talking to her right before Loki's invasion. But I was completely wrong, because in this timeline you have Steve Rogers and his kind of frozen in ice thing that he's got going on. And at the end, we saw Captain Marvel get called with Nick, to Nick, or Nick called her. And I can't honestly wait to see if they'll do another episode in this universe, because that seems so cool, that timeline. Like, Captain Marvel said to call her an emergency, and now Loki took over the whole world. Yeah, I forgot to add that part, by the way, sorry. Loki takes over Earth. And so now you just have to see what kind of Avengers they bring up. I think in the comics she is a part of the Avengers team. But yeah, no, this is insane. I can't wait for the next episode, because T'Challa does have 3 more character appearances, and Chadwick did voice those 3. So I'm really excited to see his character coming in. And yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. This episode was great. I can't wait for the rest. Titans is coming out. A review on that one is coming out. And a review on Suicide Squad, or the new one, is also going to come out soon. So thank you so much for watching this video. And bye.